Hello and welcome to the Ecological Delve. Where we will be taking a closer look into the world of Monster Hunter. Whether you have never heard of this world, you are just starting out on your adventure, or even if you are a seasoned veteran, all are welcome to join me as we take a delve. Now, what we have here is the Anjanath.
Holy fucking shit, it's a dinosaur! Jesus Christ, what the fuck?
Oh, I do, I keep using music that is copyrighted. They won't hesitate to delete my channel if I do not learn my lesson. As mentioned in the last episode, there are two primary gatekeepers into the New World, one of which we covered last time being the Tobi-Kadachi, with the second one that I would say does an even better job of trimming the fat being the Anjanath. Oh Angie, you are the bane of many a new hunter in the New World, as well as a hilarious amount of gaming journalists back in 2018. Bunch of scrubs. I affectionately refer to this pink pedestrian pulverizer as Angie. The word of the day is plosive, by the way. The primary excuse for this being is that I, for some reason, thought it was spelt Anjanath and not Anjanath.
You're saying it wrong. It's Leviosa, not Leviosa.
And upon realizing the error of my ways, I promptly ignored that proper spelling and continued to call it Angie because I'm a proud Southern belle and that's how we do things in America. The Anjanath is another one of the crowd favorite brute wyverns. I honestly think it could have a strong argument for the fanged classification because holy Jesus, look at those daggers! But being a brute wyvern means it does share many similarities with the structural features we saw with the Baroth. Mostly meaning big head, big legs, big tail, itsy bitty little arms. With one of the major differences being that the Anjanath is a predator, and its favorite prey is anything it deems not to be a threat, and yes, that means you. And unlike some other bipedal creature you may be familiar with that also has more teeth than skull at the end of its neck, the Anjanath's vision is not based on movement. Instead, it relies on its heightened sense of smell, and you smell like a freshly opened can of Dr. Pepper, so for God's sakes, don't stop moving unless you intend on taking the ecological delve a little too literally, and want to take a look on the inside, because that's your next stop, buddy. Speaking of smell, let us transition to my quarantine hygiene schedule. Actually, no, let's talk about this thing. As I mentioned before, the Anjanath has a very keen sense of smell, and primarily uses this when tracking and attacking its prey. This is accomplished because of the crested nasal structure, or just the crest if you don't have much time. It serves two purposes. One being age identification, the bigger the crest, the older the Anjanath. The second being enhancing the creature's smelling capabilities by enlarging the overall surface area of its nose. But one unfortunate and disgusting byproduct of more nose means more mucus. This doesn't seem to bother him very much. In fact, he makes great uses for that extra nasally soup. The smell of the mucus is so strong that it is a great means of marking the Anjanath's territory. And on top of that, he will utilize the fact that the mucus is flammable. That's right, after being poisoned by the Puke, drowned by the Gyrototus, and electrocuted by the Tobi-Kadachi, new hunters get to be set on fire by the Anjanath. When you put all that back to back, it's honestly not hard to see why so many of them don't last long in the New World. he is able to take advantage of his combustible mucus by use of a special organ in his throat called the flame sac. Ugh, their words, not mine. If you've ever complained about your allergies being all flared up, trust me, you've got nothing on this guy because his sinuses are actually on fire. While the Anjanath is exerting himself, this organ will begin to generate heat to the point where it gets so hot that you can actually see it glowing through his neck. Once it gets hot enough, the Anjanath will spew his mucus at his target, and with the combination of the high temperature along with the exposure to air, the mucus will combust and light you up like a southern Christmas tree. This can be mitigated and even avoided by use of puddle pods that you can get from water moss. This is a very effective strategy of staggering or even stunning the Anjanath if you have good enough aim and timing. I highly recommend picking up some water moss when fighting the Anjanath. They are more useful than most hunters give them credit. After reaching a critical temperature, the Anjanath will need to cool itself off rapidly in order to avoid serious injury. So he will expel an enormous amount of his nasal jet fuel all at once and cause his most damaging attack by far. The area of effect is very long, but not very wide, so a little cha-cha slide to the left is all it takes to avoid it. His heat management actually brings us to his next distinct physical feature. These dorsal fins serve many purposes, and thankfully none of those are for flying. There is the basic stuff like making him look larger and more intimidating to foes, and attracting potential mates, but the most interesting purpose is regulating his internal temperature. Very similar to the purpose of the crest, these extend in order to increase his overall surface area, allowing more air to pass through and helping to prevent overheating. And on top of that, they look pretty friggin' cool. It is actually believed that there is an ancestor of the Anjanath that did have the capabilities of flight, helping to explain the existence of the dorsal fins, as well as the quills underneath its tail believed to be the remnants of feathers. Although originally believed to reside exclusively in the ancient forest, the Anjanath is a predator of opportunity, and shortly after hunters started going on expeditions into the forest more and more, the Anjanath began to show signs of more invasive characteristics by expanding his hunting grounds into the wildspire wastes. That is why he primarily has turf wars with monsters found in the ancient forest, because that is his home turf. But he is just as new to the wastes as us hunters. The wildspire waste was only the beginning, however, because upon exploring the newly found Hoarfrost Reach, it was discovered that the Anjanath had migrated here as well. But the old spit and fire tactics weren't going to cut it out here, so he had to have one heck of a glow-up. Ready to utilize any amount of profanity necessary, this bad boy is spitting a different kind of fire. Let's delve into the vulgar Anjanath.
Oh shit, the one time!
No, Angie, please don't call me the N-word.
Oh, nigga, don't hate me because I'm beautiful, nigga. Maybe you got rid of that old yee-yee ass haircut you got, you get some bitches on your dick.
Upon reading my notes, it says he is a vulgar Anjanath, not vulgar Anjanath. Must be a translation error. Sharing many of the same characteristics as the standard model, besides a striking palette change, the Fulgur Anjanath has gone through an intense adaptation transformation in order to compete with the stronger competition by converting its fire element into thunder instead. He is actually the first brute wyvern ever on record with the guild using the thunder element. Utilizing its special organ, again, their words, not mine, it is able to charge its body with electricity with each attack it dishes out, even if the attack doesn't actually hit anything. While it is building up, this will stimulate his whole body, increasing his reflexes, and even causing his dorsal fins to extend, allowing for arcing electricity to create a circuit. This will also open up new avenues of attacking his foes by electrifying his mucus and launching it like a projectile, or by creating a shocking field by attacking the ground. And similarly to the vanilla Anjanath, once he reaches a critical capacity, he will index the charged state with a overpowering frontal attack that releases all of his thunder damage at once. This is his most dangerous attack because standard defense isn't going to be enough. You will need thunder resistance as well. And as we saw with the Tobigadachi, thunder damage comes with Thunder Blight, and Thunder Blight comes with more stuns, and more stuns come with more free rides back to camp on the back of a cart. Nullberries will be your friend when hunting the Fulgur Anjanath, as well as sacrificial palicos.
Mr. President, get down! Ah!
I am having similar difficulties with this monster as I did with the Baroth, because it is one of my favorites and I just want to spend all day talking about it. Hell, this script is over 400 words longer than the last one. And whether they are dreams or nightmares, all hunters who have dealt with this monster have memories that will stick with them wherever their journey takes them. And for that reason alone, I hope that wherever our adventures take us, the Anjanath will be following right behind. I have been your host, Kanani96. This has been the Ecological Delve. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, tell all your friends, and stay tuned for the next episode.
Somebody once told me the world is gonna